in her comfy spot.
Yeah, and then there she is with Linda, the one-eyed cat, who's
That's some menagerie you got there.
yeah, two animals, one eye. So every morning, to tell you something, on my bathroom, my side of the bed is near the bathroom. What's up, Adam? How are you, man? Long time. Haven't seen you in a while. So anyway, I get up, go to the bathroom, and I get ready for work.
Sure.
So by that time, my wife is up and she goes downstairs. So when I'm out of the shower, I could open up the door, let some of the steam come out of the shower, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning, the cat hides behind a pillow, crumpled up sheets, whatever it is that she has to hide behind, because I can't see her, of course. Hiding there, waiting, so that she could get me. Every single morning. It's hysterical. Every single morning with the cat.
Good for you. Listen, enjoy every minute of it, every second of it, because it doesn't always last long. So you have to enjoy every second of it. My dog has a habit. If I can walk outside for 2 minutes or be gone for 2 days. And when I come in, my dog has this kind of cry, yelp, happy thing that he does, and it's really loud. And my wife all the time, oh, I hate that. I hate when he does that. I said, let me tell you something. Enjoy every time you do it, because one of these days you're going to walk in his house and he won't be doing it.
Yeah,
doing it. So I say all the time, just thank goodness he's still doing it. And every time he does it, I love every second of it. And I actually I pump him up to keep doing it. So, but that's just a little word of advice from us here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show with Jeff. Let's get the show started the right way. Jeff, how was your week?
Not bad.
No,
it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a little bit of the Olympics are going to creep into the show. We got some football as always. I got a little music stuff for you. We got I don't think. Trying to think. No. So we did the show Thursday. Olympics started on Friday. Okay. So we got a couple of things to get to. Let's see. Where are we going to start? Let's see where we're going to start, Jeff. Boy, oh boy! All right, let's kick it right into high gear here. Let's talk about the Olympics. And I know you're not a big Olympics guy. You're not, you don't watch a lot of TV. Do you pay attention to it at all? Like flipping channels, kind of cruise by it on social media and click a couple things.
Actually, this week, no. I mean, I see what's on the news and stuff, and I like to pay attention to the medal count, but that's about it. If I was going to pay attention to the Olympics, I prefer the Winter Olympics over the Summer Olympics.
Oh, okay. Is there a favorite event in the Winter Olympics for the Talwinski household?
Anything fast on ice.
Gotcha. All right. So you like the guys coming down the mountains, doing 110 miles an hour, cracking up into the trees and all that good stuff?
Well, on skis, it's not so much fun, but on the luge and stuff.
Okay.
That's where we're talking.
Yeah. I do also prefer the Winter Olympics for some reason, but I like the Olympics. I get into watching it. So everybody's going crazy over Simone Biles, and I don't know how you feel. I don't know if we've talked about this much to date, but curling. I don't understand curling. So one of these days, I'm gonna have to YouTube it and figure out how it's actually played and won and the point system. And they throw this, they call it a stone down the ice. It clicks into a bunch of things.
Did you know that as far as curling goes,
okay,
all of the curling stones are made in one place in the world?
Oh, really? Where is that?
I forget. It's not important. I mean,
I thought you had some in-depth analysis and news for us.
I kind of do, but you jump me on and you threw up a roadblock, and you're like, so now I'm going to go around it.
You're going around it?
You go around it.
Go ahead, go around it.
Well, I'm going to tell you. All of the curling stones in the world are made in this one place.
Okay.
And, first of all, how much curling have you ever played?
I've never played it. I've watched.
You've never done curling before?
Not in the Olympic sport. So
yet you were going to question me about.
I was just questioning where they make the stones. You said they make it all in one place. I figured it can't be that hard to know the one place. That's all.
Oh, I know. Listen, it was really not that important of a fact for me to remember exactly where. Where was the first atomic bomb dropped? where they make fucking curling stones. Who really cares where they make them?
Well,
I just know that they make them in the same spot.
Yeah, they got a couple guys going down and they're scraping. They got the brushes working. I've watched. I have no idea, what how it works. But all right. So we know that curling stones are made in one place. Where that is, we're not sure. But I do like the Summer Olympics. I get into some of the events. I love the water. Anything with the swimming or water polo is one of my favorite. That is such a high endurance sport. I do get into some of that, but the gymnastics is usually hit or miss for me. Depends on there's got to be like a storyline. I need to like the men this year hadn't won a medal in 16 years. They went out there, busted their ass, and they won a bronze medal. It was great competition. Amazing to watch these guys. I mean, Jeff, I never see anybody swing around these bars as fast as these guys did. It was frightening how fast they were moving. And they won. So it was a nice story. I kept up with it and I watched it. On the women's side, they win regularly. And I'm sure you know who Simone Biles is. She's probably one of the best gymnasts in the world, if not one of the best in our country's history. And obviously 4 years ago, she quit on her team.
Yes.
In the middle of the Olympics. I think we talked about the time. And, I had dinner with my son the other night and he was like, oh, she's the GOAT. She's the greatest Olympic. I said, she can't be. And he said, why can't she be the GOAT? I said, because she quit on a team. And I said, you know what? What makes a great athlete, what makes the GOAT is that you don't quit. If you're sick, if you don't feel well, if you're not playing well, you find another level, you find another gear. You could be a great gymnast, but you can't be the GOAT if you quit on your team in the middle of an Olympics, costing another teammate a spot, but costing your team because you had a mental breakdown. So to me, Simone Biles, regardless of how good she is or how many medals she wins, to me, she can never be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, because she quit in the middle of it. Would you disagree with that?
No, it's hard to disagree with that. I think, first of all, I can't remember exactly why she quit.
Well, yeah, she had a thing where she would get nervous in the middle of her routine. Like in the middle of like a turn or a somersault, she would get nervous that she wasn't doing it properly, and she was getting too nervous and had to quit and not compete.
Well, then this is something that way before, ahead of time, before the Olympics happens. You train for this and everything else. Maybe it's something where you're like, I can't do this. Like how could you But when you were qualifying, you discovered you couldn't do this. So, I mean, evidently it was like a mental glitch, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Not a mental problem, a mental glitch. There's a difference.
I would agree.
And she just was getting too upset to complete the move, is what you're saying.
Yeah. She just felt like she couldn't compete and perform to her level, which is fine. Just do it before the Olympics. And even then, I would have had less respect for her. Might not have bothered me as much. But to be in the middle of the Olympics and quit and had taken a spot on a team that could belong to somebody else who worked their ass off and came in fifth on a four-man team or a four-woman team, to me that's where I kind of draw the line on you can't be the GOAT.
No, I hear you. There's a lot of things that she can't be, including a good teammate, because a good teammate would step aside, and allow somebody else to take that position if need be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And, I have no problem here. And so my son came back with, well, Michael Jordan retired. I said, there's two different things. Michael Jordan didn't retire, before game 7 of the, of the basketball finals. Michael Jordan didn't quit, 3 weeks into the season. Michael Jordan quit at the end of the season after winning a championship. He said, I've had enough. Retiring is one thing. Quitting is another.
Is this the younger fella or the older fella?
My older son.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I could believe and go along with his way of thinking. But you know what? A lot of people may think that way. A lot of people, no disrespect to your boy.
No, good.
But a lot of people during basketball finals and World Series and stuff like that, they become like, how's the way to put it? Like, I don't want to say they become experts in something, But from what I remember, your boy, he was a little bulky. I can't see him rolling around on a mat doing some of these moves. Like, what is he really going to know about gymnastics, especially women's gymnastics?
Well, again, to me, it's not a question of whether you know whether you can actually pull the moves off. It's you're a fan of sports and you go, okay, she's great. There's no doubt she's won a ton of medals. I'm not going to doubt it, but I can't say she's the best of all time when she quit. You quit in the middle of an Olympics, cost your team a medal, and cost somebody a spot. You relinquish the fact that you're the best of all time. I don't care how many more medals you won. You're a quitter, and I can't put you as the GOAT. I can say you're a great gymnast. There's no disputing that, but I'm not going to give you that title. And again, it's superficial. It's a title. Who gives a crap? She's got all the medals hanging, and she'll make a ton of money afterwards. Yeah. But to me, there's always going to be a little something hanging over her career that she quit. Now,
and very well, there should be. And when I was saying what I said, I didn't mean to. I wasn't insulting your son or anything.
No, not at all. I didn't take it that way.
Other people, like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they get into, this and that, and it's like, when was all of a sudden the interest in this? Nobody's going to remember this girl's name in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Once the Olympics are over with, and the advertisements start coming up for wherever the next summer games are going to be, whatever country they're going to be held in.
Actually, it's in I think it's Los Angeles, 2028.
Why don't they ever have the Olympics in like Sudan?
Well, I think they bid on it. Like I don't know if they pay money or they put some sort of proposal out and it gets awarded every so often. Like I think the next 2 or 3 are already determined, so that way their countries have it.
They are. They determine years ahead of time. But I want to see something. Go to a country in Africa. And let's go to South Africa, maybe surfing with sharks, running with the lions. Something that we don't get to see very often. And,
now that might be an interesting Olympics if you threw everybody in the water and chummed it and said fastest one to the pier wins.
Yeah, 1 mile out, 1 mile swim.
Yeah. I don't have to be the fastest. I just don't have to be the slowest.
Yeah,
that's all. So. But and I think and to finish this kind of topic up, then we'll get my dad on. I think it's the sissification of our society, where being weak is acceptable. Back in the day, if somebody quit on their team, you would be ostracized. Whether it's at the pro level, Olympic level, or on the street. If we were playing in a game and one of our guys up and quit because he just didn't feel like playing, that guy would have to hear about it for a very long time. To me, it's the sissification of our society where, well, he's got mental health issues or he's just not, feeling himself today. He just needs a timeout. Like that is the problem with our society today, in my opinion.
Let me give you an example of an athlete quitting, and you tell me how you would how you would classify this.
Go ahead.
Years ago. 40 years ago, maybe more, I was playing football on Ormond Place.
Okay.
And it was a brothers league.
There we go.
Well, no, hear me out. I think you'll like this one. Me and my brother went up the street to play with the Bruscos.
Another pair of brothers.
We decided to swap little brothers.
Okay.
So it was me and Danny versus Jerry and my brother.
Okay.
So as always, Jerry and Danny started bickering and got into a heated argument.
As always.
Where Jerry promised to throw the ball at Danny's nuts. Okay? So upon this, Danny said, "You better not. I'm going to tell mommy." And Jerry's like, "Watch, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." And it was actually, from what I remember, it was a pretty decent football game. We wasn't a blowout. We were having fun and everything else.
Uh-huh.
As soon as Jerry said hike, my brother was running around like an idiot in circles because he was trying to get open so that Jerry would throw him the ball. But Jerry had no intention whatsoever under the sun of even looking at my brother. His number one target was Danny the entire time. Jerry just took a few steps back, waited for Danny to go 5 Mississippi, threw his hands up, and come running at Jerry like this. Jerry to be honest, threw a laser and hit a dime from 50 yards away.
No easy task in that scenario. I have to tell
No,
you.
not with all the obstacle in the way.
There's a lot of obstacles. in
Yeah.
that one, yes.
And I just saw him the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah. But he drilled him like a laser right in the fucking nuts, man. He went down like a ton of bricks, and he did one of those. As soon as he went down, he was like,
no air escaping. No air escaping.
No air escaping because he was sucking in the air.
Yes.
Because he then let out the biggest scream that I ever heard. And then the war began.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was great. I'll never forget that for as long as I live, man. That was one of the funniest things that I ever saw in my life. Now, of course, both members of the Brusco household quit the game immediately. Okay. Danny more so due to injury than Jerry. He was probably suspended by the league or by the commissioner. And me and my brother, like, what the fuck, man? We're not playing. Where would you put them in that situation?
That's a good question. Now, Danny should have gotten up and at the first moment possible took Jerry out with a shot. So that
might have been 3 days later. I mean, this was an incredible shot. When I tell you I heard a sickening thud, because it was like throwing it into a fucking down comforter. It was unbelievable.
Well, Jerry quitting is the worst part because you've pulled off that maneuver and now you're running from it. But so it does not surprise me that gentleman that you referred to.
If there ever was a gold medal for that kind of thing, Jerry would still be the benchmark of all time.
I would tell you, in all the years we all hung out, I don't think I've ever seen that ever happen amongst our squad. I've seen some fights, brother fights. My brother and I had a couple. I remember you and your brother having a couple. I remember a couple of Joe Gansas and my Gansas fights. But I never saw anybody take aim with the football or any other apparatus at the nether regions.
Yeah, and a Gansas fight must have been incredible.
Oof. One time, I believe when they had moved into the downstairs room, I'm almost positive. It was one big brawl. I'm almost 100% positive it was those two. I'd have to hear from Joey. Maybe he would dispute this, but interesting times. But I do not remember anybody ever throwing any sort of weapon at the nether regions.
Weapon.
Yes,
weapon.
Football's a weapon. Football's a weapon at this point. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Hang in there.
Never mind weapon.
We're gonna get my dad on, see what he wants to talk about, and then we'll get back. I got a lot of football. We got more Olympics. We had a disgraceful. I'm sure Jeff read about it. It's all over social media. The Democrat liberal policies have struck the Olympics, and we had our first male beat a female in Olympic sports, Jeff. So I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you paid attention to it, but we'll come back. We'll after my dad, we'll get to talk about it.
Right.
What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? Wow.
What's up, Mr. Florio?
How we doing?
Good.
Yeah, number one, that curling. The closest thing that comes to that is bocce ball.
Bocce ball. Wow, it's another sport I don't know anything about. Wow.
It's the little, we used to play it in Brooklyn.
Yep.
The old Italian guys. And you throw a little ball, and whoever gets closest to that ball wins whatever they bet money, they play for wine, and you want to see some fights. There's some fights on there. But that's the closest I see to it.
That really doesn't count because they're still arguing from a game from 1946. Them old Italian guys, and you know that.
Yeah.
As long as you put them alive, they're still arguing about it.
Yeah. They could cheat.
Oh, yeah.
But the idea is to get as close to that little ball as possible or knock you out of the way so you're not closer. The other thing with that Simone girl, she had a lot of mental problems last year. Now, whether they were for real, they were not for real, I have no idea. I remember when she quit, there was a big controversy about it because she took the spot of somebody. But I understand what Jeff's saying, and normally that's the way I would feel that, you took a spot away from somebody, but then I think about all the other athletes
Mm-hmm.
that quit,
Okay.
whether it was CC Sebastian because he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He handed the ball to the Yankees, said, I can't do no more. And he walked out when they were going for the pennant.
Sure, absolutely. But then, so if somebody said, "Well, CC Beatriz is a great pitcher," I'd say, "Yes, he is," and I'd
I
say,
don't knock him for it. I
"Is
don't.
he I'm not knocking her for quitting. I'm just saying you can't be the greatest of all time if you quit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but CC Sabathia is not the greatest pitcher of all time.
That's the point.
No,
So-
not at all.
So
Probably
that-
not even
Nobody is.
top 50.
Listen, nobody is the greatest of anything.
but
You're as great as you are for as long as you play. The minute you retire, somebody's going to take your place. Whether it's Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle,
But
Michael
the
Jordan.
problem I have with it that is you go to the Olympics, you know, there's another girl who was the fifth person on a four-woman team. That girl trained her butt off for at least 4 years, was right there ready to go. She just missed the cut. 4 girls left to go to Japan, and one of them quit when they got there. And that girl not only cost her team, but she cost that other girl a chance at her dream.
It wasn't that. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just that I feel for you to quit and to get that stigma of something mentally wrong with you, because a lot of people,
Yeah.
once they hear you're a mental case for the rest of your life. And
No.
I just think that I don't know.
Oh, she could listen again. You could call her a great gymnast. You could say she had a great Olympics. But if you're going to tell me she's the best Olympic gymnast of all time, I have to differ and say she quit. She didn't compete when she had the opportunity. I don't care if she competed and lost in the Olympics. That happens to the best of all time. I could care less. But you can't quit. You can't be in the middle of it. That's like, Michael Jordan quitting, in the middle of Game 7 because he just didn't feel good. Sorry that you just don't do it. So that's my issue with it. So obviously,
I got a comment on something you said, Mr. Florio, when you said about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and those guys aren't the greatest anymore. I got to disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. They're the ones that set the mark. They're the ones that made the game what it is, why people respect the game. I would say that they're some of the greatest that played. And I know it's two different subjects, just simply because of what they did to a sport. Nowadays, players look sloppy. They don't look like baseball players of old. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. What I mean by that is it's that word, the GOAT, is giving out to so many different people. And
Right.
you're only as good as you are in your period. I'm not saying Babe Ruth to me was the greatest athlete of anything. You go back today, they pull up records that people are starting to break or go, and who's the leader? Babe Ruth. But you go into basketball, you go into baseball, you go into football. It's just not. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you can argue over who the GOAT is. Like, I could sit there and have the argument is Ken Griffey Jr. or Babe Ruth the GOAT. We can have that argument. I can argue is Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Mark Messier the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It's subjective, but you can't give me Simone Biles, Nadia Comaneci, Mary Lou Retton, and say Simone Biles is the greatest of all of them. Those other ones didn't quit in the middle of your premier sporting event. She did not go, mentally, I'm not here, I can't do it. To me, it's impossible for me to recognize that person as the greatest of all time. I could say she's a great athlete, she's a great gymnast, she might be the greatest American gymnast of all time. I'm not sure, but when push comes to shove and somebody says, Tom, who's the greatest American gymnast or American woman gymnast? It's not going to be Simone Biles. She quit. You can't. You get an injury, you break a leg, you got to quit. I get it. You go, mentally, I'm not just there. I'm not sure I can. Nope, you're done. You're done. You're no longer the greatest. You can't be. that just knocks you off the pedestal for me. So
Well, you could put him up against, was that swimmer that swam?
yeah,
23.
you're good. Michael Phelps, you could put him. Yeah,
23,
yeah. I mean,
23 gold medals.
yeah, the guy went through 3 Olympics. He won every event he was ever in. He showed up every time. Even his last Olympics, where he wasn't great, he was really good, and he lost a few races, won a bunch of them. He still showed up and competed and won medals. Again, you go out and you lose, you lose. Michael Jordan lost basketball games. The greatest pitchers and players of our time won and lost games. Doesn't mean Wayne Gretzky didn't win every hockey game he ever played. I still think he's the greatest hockey player I ever saw, but that doesn't mean he didn't win and lose. But he never quit. He never showed up for Game 7 and said, "I just can't play tonight. My head's not in it." That, to me, you're just eliminated. So that's the difference between the GOAT, and a great player. I guess. All
right, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys are pips.
You got it, Pops. Thanks for calling.
All right,
I'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah, we'll be here.
You got it.
Later. Take care, Jeff.
See you later, Mr. Warrior.
That's my daddy. Checks in with us every week, and it's always great to have him. Brings sometimes a different perspective than what Jeff and I are talking about. By the way, the curling stones are made in a little island off the coast of Scotland called Ailsa Craig.
You know what? I did not know the name of the place.
Okay.
But I was going to say Scotland. That it was somewhere near Scotland or in Scotland.
Well, then you would be you would have been correct.
I didn't say it, so I can't say that I.
All right, you can't take credit for it, but
there might be those that would accuse me of blasphemy.
No. Speaking of blasphemy, Jeff, I'm glad that's a perfect segue to my next topic, and that is the Olympics. And did you check out and read about the controversy over the opening games of the Olympics and their depiction of the Last Supper?
Yes, I did. Which turns out, according to some people, that it was not a depiction.
They changed they came back and changed and said, okay, it was the Last Supper.
Oh, they did. They
yes,
did.
They did come back. A spokesman for the Olympics came out and said, all right, you're right. It was.
First of all, I thought it was, from when I seen it.
Absolutely.
I think that it's just another way to show how certain religions, they don't want to go on record or go on and making fun of certain religions. But definitely Christianity is not too high up on that list.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it's all of a sudden now the Christians, Catholics, whatever, are the punching bag of the religious world.
Well, we knew that already.
Yes. And again,
the ones that get beat up more than Christians are Jews.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that now I love watching the Olympics. I very rarely watch the opening games, the opening ceremonies. Excuse me. Closing, opening. To me, it's the most boring thing in the whole. You get a bunch of people dancing, and it's like watching a musical. Broadway musicals to me are just I can't. You go to something and people sing the whole time. I get it. It's very talented. It's not me. The opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, the Olympics are the same thing. I could care less about watching the athletes waving their flag, walking in and all dressed the same. It's boring. But I happened to be down the Jersey Shore with my wife. I took the day off last Friday, and we went down to Jersey Shore. We were sitting at Martel's Tiki Bar. At the bar, the TV was on, and I was having a nice sandwich and something to drink, and we listened to a band, and it was on. And I'm watching this happen, and I said, what the F was that? And, of course, there's no sound, but I could see that it's a bunch of weird-looking people who are depicting the Last Supper. And I said, why would you even put this in there? Like, what part of this has anything to do with France or the Olympic Games? And it's just one of those things, Jeff, where I think today it's not even about why it's there. It's just because we want to. It's the same that I feel about the Democrats and the people who run for a Democratic office and their stances on things. And you're like, but it just doesn't sound right. And they go, well, because we want to, and because it pisses you off. And it, to me, made absolutely zero sense for anybody to take a bunch of transgender people, put them in the depiction of the Last Supper, something that to Christians and Catholics is one of the most holiest things of all time, and basically piss over it. I mean, I just didn't understand it.
Oh, neither do I. First of all, I think if you're going to be doing a show for the Olympics, and I'm going to tell you something before we wrap this up. Remind me, I got something to tell you via what happened on Facebook.
Okay.
I posted twice about that.
Okay.
Okay. I would think that you would want to do something to celebrate the host country, the host city.
Yeah.
Maybe show off some of the cultural sites within the city, or like, why is this city famous? Maybe, do something of that nature. Maybe there's a theme to the Olympics. I don't know. Like the Paris, you got the Eiffel Tower. Maybe incorporate the Eiffel Tower into it somehow.
And they did toward the end.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
They lit up the entire light. They put a beautiful light show up against the Eiffel Tower. It was absolutely fantastic. It was the best part of the whole thing. And you say, if you took out the stupidity of it, it had parts that were very nice. But go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
It should be about the games. It shouldn't be making some kind of statement of some kind. I just don't agree with that like you do. I just don't. I had put up two things. One questioning it, and then another one that what they should do is people stop complaining about it. Just don't watch the Olympic Games.
Right.
If you don't watch the Olympic Games, Channel 4 doesn't make any money. If Channel 4 doesn't make any money, then guess what? The Olympics don't make any money. That's how you combat that. You want to go on social media and complain about it, by all means, go right ahead. But as far as like me and you doing this, we could talk about this. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
You go on and you just say, listen, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
You did something that highly offended me. I'm not watching it. And now that the thing that I want to tell you, of course, there was people that argued with me.
Come on. You actually have people defending that?
Yeah, that this is depicted. This is the depiction of a painting. You don't know what you're talking about. You could go back and look at the.
Wow. Do I know the person who was arguing with you?
Yeah. And just, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, and then finally I brought up, because it was transgendered people. It was a cousin of mine. And I was like, how would you feel if you and your girls are out someplace and they got to go to the bathroom and in comes a tranny? And then all of a sudden it went from defending the painting to, well, I don't know what this means and everything else, but I still love you, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, I still love you too. No offense taken, which there really was none, because I said to her, one of the things I said to her was like, so the entire world is wrong in saying this. That's what you're coming up with. She's like, yeah. And then the other thing is I did not know until that post that the band Gojira also played. Evidently, they were a French band.
Yes. That was. I didn't hear them, but I could see them. They had them basically hanging off the side of buildings playing. I couldn't hear them because there was no volume. But go ahead, yeah.
Well, I turned around and I said that I really didn't care if Gojira played, and whatever. And then this guy started to challenge me on this. And in challenging me, he's turning around and saying, well, suppose it was Black Sabbath. And I was like, listen, I says, honestly, I think it's stupid when people turn around and say that they want a heavy metal band to play certain events. I don't think that heavy metal is for everybody. Okay. And I don't think that somebody your dad's age wants to sit and listen to Metallica play Whiplash or For Whom the Bell Tolls. Okay. I think that the performances for the Olympics should be a little more on the tame side. Okay, not just the Olympics, the Super Bowl too.
Sure.
Something that's not going to offend anybody. So I don't want to see a rapper grabbing his nuts.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a chick that's half naked. I mean, of course I do, but not during. It just makes no sense to me. I just don't understand the point of it. So, and he kept saying, well, suppose it was Black Sabbath. And finally I had to tell him, I was like, listen, bro, listen what I'm going to say. I'm saying it for the last time. I don't think that any heavy metal band should be playing anything like the Olympics, the Super Bowl, the World Series, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
They just shouldn't. You know why? Because if your grandmother's 90, does she really want to see Marilyn Manson play or hear Ozzy sing about fucking Sweet Leaf, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, not everybody wants to hear. Do we want to hear it? Yeah, we would love to hear it. Maybe if they played a friendly song, but what metal song is actually friendly? And even if it is, who's going to sit there that's not a metal fan and listen to the lyrics and be like, oh yeah, this is some this is some, you know, quality shit that they're doing here.
Yeah.
You know, like I just don't understand that. It would be nice to see a mix of certain things during like certain kinds of music during some of these shows that we're forced to watch during the Super Bowl and everything else, but within reason. I'm not saying everyone has to be Celine Dion.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, make it listener friendly. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. And I understand. Was it Gojira? Is that the name of the band?
Gojira, something like that. Yeah.
Again, I've heard of them. I've never heard them. So I don't know much about them. But I'm assuming they're a French heavy metal band. So I understand like Celine Dion performed, they performed. So you want to say, well, we're putting our range of different musicians and artists, and we're trying to celebrate, you know, French history. I get all. I agree with you. You know, I'm a metal fan. I really didn't turn on the opening ceremonies to see Gojira because they play metal. Like it's not doing anything for me. You're probably making more people turn it off than listen to it.
A French heavy metal band from Andres, Ondres, founded as Godzilla in 1996. The lineup has been the same since the band changed its name to Gojira in 2001. Gojira has been known for its progressive and technical death metal styles.
Wow, death metal no less. Wow.
And spiritual, philosophical, and environmentally themed lyrics. So I guess as you're killing the witch, you're worrying about leaving litter behind and killing trees. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. So it makes total sense. Now, so there's here's the liberal communist getting their thumb and foot on the scale. Yeah. So again, I kind of agree with you. Like there's no place for a death metal band in the open set. But again, they're a French band, and if
it is, where is Venom?
Yeah. So I mean, you know, again, I'm not a usual fan. If it was, I was only watching because it was on TV, staring me in the face. And again, I'll kind of end my topic of this is, you know, where's the outrage from people now? Granted, at least one sponsor pulled their ads from it, you know. But to me, where's the Pope on all of this? Where, you know, this should have been bigger outrage. You know, if somebody had done this, if in 2028, if they put a bunch of transgender people up there mocking the Muslim religion, you know, you'll have DEFCON 5 because a lot of people run around with backpacks looking to blow things up because somebody, you know, made fun of Allah. You know, and again, I could care less about somebody else's religion from the point of that's your religion, go celebrate it. I you know, it doesn't affect me. But when you openly and for no reason, again, it just didn't fit, Jeff. It wasn't like, you know, they were depicting all these different religious scenes, and they just happened to pick transgender people for that one. Like it was just in the middle of nowhere, the Last Supper with a bunch of very strange looking people. So to me, I don't understand the theme behind it.
What does religion have to do with the Olympics? One, two, what do any religious portrayals need to be involved with the Olympics, and what is the connection between the Last Supper and the Olympics or anything sports wise? Sports weren't even fucking probably weren't even invented. Maybe go fucking, I don't know, back then when the Last Supper was happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I just think that's something that, I mean, I just don't see the point of it myself.
Yeah, I'm with you. So to me, you know, this was just kind of like and I don't understand the theory behind it. Like, are you making, you're obviously making fun of it, but why? Like, where does it fit? And it should have been bigger outrage. And the fact that anybody defended it in any way, you know, to me is just stupidity. If you're a human being and you're even remotely religious, whatever faith it is, you kind of got to go, hey, that ain't cool. Yeah, you're making fun of the Jewish people that way. I would be having, So to me, it made no sense, and it's just another typical leftist policy that for some reason they're going to piss on the Catholic faith or the Christian faith and mock it. So and people accept it, and that's the way it goes. But I thought that was terrible. Let's see, hold on, and so then leading into this now, Jeff, was the Italian boxer, woman boxer, who was forced to fight a man, essentially. Let me see if I can bring that up for you. Let's see. I do have a bit. Now, this poor girl got punched in the face and quit after 46 seconds and said, it was the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. Now, the same person you just said kind of argued with you over the Last Supper also was on somebody's, or maybe she had her own post about how it wasn't fair to the transgender person because they have some sort of affliction where they're a woman parts, but they have all male testosterone. And I say, I don't really care. You're a man. You don't fight a woman. And to the Italian girl's credit, she would not even acknowledge her. Like the winner, this girl from Algeria, kept trying to come over and shake hands or give her a hug, and she just kept running away from her, like, get away from me. So now it's affected the Olympics in multiple ways. We got mocking of the Last Supper. We got men fighting women. I mean, at some point, people have to push back.
Well, let me ask you this: this woman, man, whatever the case is, okay.
Yeah.
So evidently, it has some kind of medical issue. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I did. Now, I didn't read that. I'm only passing on from the same post from a post from your cousin who said that. Now, I have no idea that if that's true, but either way,
more than one person say this. I haven't read an article. I saw more than one person say this. Me personally, how did this woman, we'll call her a woman for right now, how did this woman make it to the Olympics? How did she make it this far if she had this condition? How was this not unearthed sooner? How was this not common knowledge going into the Olympics? How?
Yeah, I don't know the answer, Jeff, because this was, I have to tell you, you would think if there was a woman, like, they follow the Olympics for a year or so or less up to the Olympics. They tell you all the preliminaries and who's battling, all the big stories. Russia's not allowed to be here because of the Ukraine war. Like, you hear all this stuff. I never once saw anybody put out an article that there was a transgender male or whatever she's claiming she is or isn't, competing against women to get into women's boxing. I didn't hear any of that until today when somebody sent me the post and said, hey, did you see that? And I said, this is ridiculous. To me, this was the biggest cover-up next to Joe Biden and his presidency that I've seen in a long time. It's just ridiculous that this didn't even make the big mainstream news that there's a man in the Olympics essentially beating up on women to win a title.
Yeah, well, Adam Hines, to elaborate kind of on what you said, supposedly he has women parts.
Yes.
But he has male chromosomes. So, I don't understand that. Like, I understand that there are people that may be in the middle someplace, and it happens. I've seen shows about it. I've seen pictures of some of these people on TV, and they look grossly lost. That there's not much that they can do to find a comfortable area, and that sucks for them. I must really suck to live a life like that. But if you're supposed to be a woman and you're a woman boxer, and they say that you have male chromosomes, I guess that means you're a man, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. No, either way, her elevated level of testosterone gives to him an advantage over competing with a woman. And I'm sorry, she should not have been there. And I think it's disgusting. And listen, I say two things. Either you have to compete as a man, as a transgender person, because that's your biologics, or start a completely different category and open it up and have a transgender category. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to have that, you have three different, you have men, women, and transgender, and let them go beat the crap out of each other like the men and women do. It's fine with me. But you cannot take that person and put them in the ring with a woman who's competing against women. It just does. It's not fair. But unfortunately, Jeff, that's the society. That's what we're voting for. That's what people are allowing to happen.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, listen, it is a shame that it is like it is.
Yeah.
Some of these people have been waiting for this moment for most of their lives. That their main purpose in life was, I want to do this, and they start training from when they're a kid. Basically, as soon as they could stand up and start doing this, they do.
100%.
And they've been doing it for years and years and years, and then they go in there and they lose it in seconds. And yeah, I saw that guy tried to go over to her twice, and she just had nothing, and she ended up going out of the ring. She wanted nothing to do with it. I still don't understand. Somebody needs to answer how that person got to that spot at that time. I just don't understand that. Yeah,
again, to me, you know, that's a man. And it needs to not to compete against a woman in boxing. I mean, you know, it's gone from swimming in a pool, playing volleyball to boxing. I mean, what's next? Wrestling? I mean, I don't know what is next. You know, but again, you know, to me, the biggest sin of this is the women of sports are not complaining. I don't see Venus Williams, Serena Williams. You know, I don't see, you know, Billie Jean King. I don't see all these people who are, you know, quote unquote, you know, the women's movement of sports coming out. I'll see any of the WNBA players complaining, you know, when all of a sudden there's men competing in the WNBA and they're losing their jobs, it'll start to happen. But right now, everybody says, let's kumbaya it. And to me, it's not right. And you know, I just don't watch it. Like, I won't watch it. So, yeah, well, the DEI is unfortunately, you know, creeped into our lives. It might even get it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's basically, you know, hiring a minority for the sake of hiring a minority. You know.
All right. So then there was one short woman for the boxing team, so they took the guy. Is that it?
I guess so. But yeah, that's, you know, it's what people have said. How our vice president was picked. Basically, they didn't ask for the best person; they asked for a black woman.
Oh, so they Rooney ruled her.
Yes, they Rooney ruled her. Yes. So, you know, and now that might be our president someday. Who knows? Thank God forbid. But that's kind of where we're heading right now. But we'll see again. But to me, that's it. And the last part of the Olympics for me is, when did Snoop Dogg become such a the likable character? You know, Snoop
Dogg,
has
been for a long time.
Yeah, it's, you know, but he's all over the Olympics. He's hanging out with, you know, the families, and he was doing commentating on badminton. And I said, you know, when did Snoop Dogg become like the lovable character? You know, 20 years ago, the guy was out there talking about pimping and hoeing and killing people. And now all of a sudden, you know, he's the lovable character. You know, he's grandpa you want to invite over and hang out with. It's just, it's amazing to me.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the guy's been smoking weed for fucking years. And, you know, he's revered because of it.
Yeah. It's really kind of crazy how he's transitioned. You know, a lot of those kind of guys, you know, the rappers kind of just fell off the face of the earth because, you know, they had an image. They tried to maintain that image. And you get to be 50 and 60 years old, it's kind of hard to be that gangster type guy. Yeah, he became Huggy Bear. You're absolutely right, Adam. That's exactly who he's become. But, you know, this guy has kind of morphed into like this lovable guy. everybody. I'm telling you, Jeff, you turn on the Olympic coverage, he is everywhere. But it's everywhere. He's everywhere in sports and TV. I mean, the guy is just 100% all over the place. So I don't dislike Snoop. I'm not a huge fan of his music.
I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you.
Yeah,
I do. I hear exactly what you're saying. But you know what? Listen, this is the way it is.
Yeah,
This is the way it is. But how Mike Tyson at one time was a gangster.
Yeah.
Okay, and now look at him. He's a lovable grandpa who advocates for weed smoking and couldn't keep the date with fucking Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Breaking
news: NFL teams ban Pride Month celebration. Enough is enough. I don't know if I want to believe that. Can't imagine that's the truth. But yeah, and to further go along with the Snoop thing, this year's the first year, Jeff, they have breakdancing as an Olympic event.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I gotta tell you, when I think the guys in Greece, thousands of years ago, were designing these sporting events to see who the best athletes or whatever they were trying to come, I don't think they had a theory that someday a bunch of morons would be spinning on cardboard to win a gold medal. Like, if I'm the guy who races down a hill at 100 miles an hour on a pair of skis that are waxed, if I'm the guy, who swims, 8 laps, 50 meters to win a race, gets the same gold medal as the guy who spins on the top of his head and just break dances, I gotta tell you, I want to shoot myself. Like that is.
I gotta say that there is a certain amount of athleticism to doing some of the moves that they do. Olympic worthy athleticism? No.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were pushing it with to me, baseball is not an Olympic event. To me, I mean, I love volleyball. It's not bad. It's I love it at the Olympics. It's borderline. What skateboarding, BMX are now Olympic events. Like, I get you trying to induce a new generation, Jeff, but I gotta draw. While I agree with you, it's there's some.
Tom, believe me, I'm not trying to justify it. Yeah. I'm not trying to say that it belongs there. Breakdancing, as far as I was concerned, once the calendar flipped to 1990, it was kind of left behind.
Yeah. When did it come back?
Maybe in a bad neighborhood somewhere up in Spanish Harlem. It might still be around. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know anybody still breakdance. I didn't know that was still a thing. Electric Boogaloo. That's funny. Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I mean, like every once in a while, I'm flipping channels and you'll see like Beat Street come on. It's all those, back in the day neighborhoods. It was like those Ice-T was in a movie, and it's all about neighborhoods breakdancing against each other. Here he is, the maniac's back. Here he is. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's like the weirdest thing that you turn breakdancing into. Oh my God, breakdancing into an Olympic sport. What's next? I mean, I can't even imagine what sport is next. Listen, there are some crazy sports. Badminton is an Olympic sport. I mean, this but
well, if you watched, I saw some video footage of DeBarge. I seen some footage of Olympic badminton. This ain't your grandmother's game, man.
No. This isn't what you play in your grandmother's backyard. Yeah, no, I've seen. So I watched that shit. Those guys are crazy.
And they look like they're right on top of one another too.
Yeah, I mean that thing is whizzing around, and the hand-eye coordination between that and even more is the ping pong guys. That thing's flying at 100 miles an hour, and these guys are just back and forth and back and forth. It's really cool. Listen, volleyball, even the beach volleyball, I love that stuff. I think I could watch that. I could watch that for hours. That is such a great sport to watch. I'm not sure it's an Olympic sport, but what is an Olympic sport nowadays? I'm not really sure. So
what day is lawn darts?
Yeah. I have no idea what the next one's going to be. I mean, I just want to know what I got to figure out. Take the most mundane thing and try to, what's next? Air guitar? Air guitar Olympics? I mean, what's next? I just don't know. But again, I digress. Go ahead.
It might be. Who knows? It might be.
It's Hard Rocket Sports. That's Jeff, and I'm Tom. We're here again. We've started our 10th year on the air. We are doing this every Thursday night, 7 to 9. And we hopefully will be here another few years doing this. But we got a whole football season coming. We got a lot of football to talk about tonight. And we're going to start getting into that right now with a few. We'll definitely get into a little bit of Jets and Giants, competitive Peloton. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one, Adam. I'm with you on that one. Competitive Peloton. What's Frankie Catalano tonight? No Frankie Catalano tonight, huh?
No, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think Frankie Catalano might have tried to hurt himself.
Why do you say that?
Well, because Zach Wilson is failing miserably.
Yes, well, no, because he'd be happy. He's a big Bo Nix guy.
Yeah, but he also was a big Zach Wilson guy, waiting for Zach Wilson to come over. He wanted Zach. He wanted Sam Darnold. He wanted both of them. He was willing to take either one of them. So now he's got one. And the guy ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, in fact, they barely got into practicing, and he was demoted behind Bo Nix and who's the other guy on that
Jason
roster?
Stidham or something.
Yeah, he is number 3 in a two quarterback race essentially.
He's number 3. That's listen, I ain't no mathematical genius here, but even I know those numbers don't sound very good.
Yeah, I would tell you that if he gets cut. And certainly if he gets cut soon, and he will. I'm not saying. I'm just saying if he gets cut, I don't see him getting another NFL job without going to a different league and showing something. Like he'd have to go to the UFL or the Canadian Football League or the Arena Football League or the Lingerie League. He'd have to go to some other league. And
he's going to get a job someplace.
You think?
I believe, yeah, but he's going to be like third stringer.
Well, let's put it this way. Do you know the Falcons signed the quarterback today?
No, I do not.
If I tell you his name and you've heard of this guy, I will buy you lunch for a week. If you can legitimately tell me you've heard of this. I watch college football. I watch the draft. I watch NFL every week. I have never heard the name Nathan Rourke as a quarterback.
Nathan what?
Rourke.
Rourke?
Yeah. Like Gary O'Rourke. Rourke. Rourke.
No, I never heard of him either.
I mean, and there's a chance that Zach Wilson, the number 2 pick in the draft a few years back, might not have a job in a couple of days.
You're right. You're right. But you want to know something? It is one, it is what it is.
Yep.
2, there's always somebody. And 3, he'll always make a team, a roster for the next year or 2 because somebody will take him to fill up a spot and in hopes that he's, maybe they'll throw him on the practice squad. Remember, I keep telling you that kid, Josh Rosen, you remember him?
Yep.
Was supposedly the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of that same draft. And
yeah, you're right.
I don't even think he's allowed on a football field, that guy.
Let's see where Josh Rosen wound up. Is Josh Rosen even in the league at this point? No,
he's not. I don't think so.
Let's see. Currently, Josh Rosen. He has. Okay, right now, his last team was 2022 Minnesota Vikings. So last year he was not on anybody's roster according to his Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
think about this. In 4 years, Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Francisco 49ers, Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, and Minnesota Vikings. On the Browns and the Vikings, he was only a member of their off-season or practice squad teams. So he wasn't even on the regular roster.
No.
Adam, good job. Thanks, pal. Catch you later, pal. Yeah. So
fun, man.
Yeah. Don't say tranny, by the way. You get banned. Don't ever say tranny.
Yeah, I know that.
Don't say you're fixing a tranny.
Oh, please don't ever say that. I said something the other day. They threatened me with jail.
Oh, really? What'd you say?
I can't remember what it was. Oh, I said something fooling around to somebody. I even forget what it was, but I was like, I'll slap you or something like that. And then all of a sudden the warning came up. Do you want to reconsider this? Like going down a dark alley and be like, hey, you, Well, you want to reconsider this? Or what? I'm like, who are you? Don't worry. You want to reconsider it? Yes or
You
no?
might want to reconsider this one.
Well, you go to fucking jail.
So, yes, Matt's right. You got Houston Texans, Chicago Bears tonight. Feet on the, I guess it's ESPN Plus or the NFL Network. I will tell you, I will not watch 10 seconds of that. I love football. I don't care. None of the starters are going to play. I'm not going to see anything worthwhile. I will not be tuning into Texans and the Bears. And why is it going to be Thursday night? It's always been Sunday. They play the game at the stadium and they do the enshrinements. It's like anything to get something on TV from the NFL. It's just the worst. I'm telling you. If I didn't love it so much, I would fucking hate it.
Wasn't this game the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah,
on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's usually like they usually play it Saturday, and they usually do the enshrinements before or after it.
And it's usually, isn't it like a little bit like the second week of August?
Well, it's usually around the first. This is like it's usually the first weekend in August, so it's always been kind of around this time of the year. It's usually right after the NFL. I'm sorry, Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame inductions, and then they play this game, and then around it, either before or after they do all the inductions. So I don't think they're doing the inductions. They're probably doing them this weekend. But like, how do you, I don't know. It's just, tonight's the Hall of Fame game. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just another, another bullshit thing that they try to do and just jam more things down your throat. So, Matt, God love you. Watch it, enjoy it. They won't get my viewership on that tonight. I will not be watching.
Listen, you know what? I almost feel bad for a guy like Matt that's heavily into football and he wants to watch football, and that's fine. That's great. We all have our things that we like.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're none of these guys have even got done stretching yet.
Yeah.
And they are playing a football game. And it's like sometimes I question how they do that. And then they wonder why certain people get injured.
Yeah.
Some of these guys didn't even unpack a bag yet, and they're ready to play. They're getting ready to play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, these guys start a little bit earlier than the teams for this. They get to start a week earlier to get prepared for it. But to me, it's kind of ridiculous. This, to me, I don't know. I very rarely ever watch this game. It almost doesn't mean anything to me. Packers unveil new white helmets for winter warning game in October. Oh boy!
Which team?
The Packers. You want to see it? Packers have a different helmet.
Go ahead, put it on. Let's see.
Hold on a second. It's ridiculous. Packers iconic uniform, especially the helmet. It's iconic. Why are you doing this?
I feel as though that I've seen this before.
Have you?
I think so. I want to say that I've seen. I mean, of course, the winter warning. What the fuck does that mean?
I have no idea. Packers unveil new alternate helmets for winter warning game.
I see that the uniform itself looks like it's kind of the same. No side view.
Let's see. I'm scrolling up. Let's see if they show you. There's a video.
Probably in the video, they probably show something.
Hold on, let's see. You get a view of it now?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, we've talked about uniforms and helmets. To me, Green Bay Packers has got to be top 5 iconic helmets. No,
I would say.
I mean, it's just iconic. It's football. The helmet. The logo, it's simple, it's easy. If the colors have been the same forever, I mean, at some point, can't we just leave well enough alone? I mean, we have to have a fucking uniform for every day of the week.
There's no money to be made in leaving everything alone. That's one thing. Okay, and you should know that. Second of all, I could see having an alternate uniform to an extent. But if that's the case, then why doesn't the NFL turn around and say that teams are required to change their uniforms every 5 years?
Yeah, you might as well. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Or if they have a third uniform, that you have 3 uniforms to choose from. Not everybody's getting a primetime game. Nobody's ever getting a game where they need this third uniform. Look at a team like Carolina. Do you think Carolina was going to be on any primetime games where they needed another uniform? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
As far as some of these teams go, I could give you a couple. The Cowboys, the Raiders, the New York Giants to an extent, the Green Bay Packers, the Redskins when they were around, the 49ers. These are teams whose uniforms should never, ever, ever.
The Raiders, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Leave them how they are. They're iconic in their own. The New York Yankees, if they ever came up, I hate that baseball teams have, and the Mets do it too, have so many different things. I like their black jersey with the blue and orange lettering.
Okay.
That they wear sometimes. I like that. But all these different other kinds of things with camouflage hat and everything else, I could see you want to do that for a game to honor the soldiers or veterans. That's fine for Veterans Day, Memorial Day. But, I mean, after a while, it's like we don't need to have 17 different uniforms for a season. I just don't see it.
I couldn't agree with you more. And again, if you want to say, hey, one game a year, we give it alternate uniform. I kind of understand it, but these guys color rush uniforms, and they got the throwbacks, and then now you got this. It went to warning fucking people. Oh my God, that can't be Tito Santana. I'm gonna show you a picture in a minute. But Matt, I do like the new kickoff rule. I don't like the new rules for the onside kick. You know what the new rule for the onside kicks are? You have to be losing. You can only do it in the fourth quarter, and you have to announce before you go on the field that you're going to onside kick.
That's the rules?
That's the rules now for the onside kick in football. So while Matt, I do like the new kickoff rule. I think it puts the pull. I think you waste time. Think about this. Team scores a touchdown. They go to commercial break. They come back. They kick the ball out of the end zone. Nothing happens. They leave the field. They do another commercial. They come back, and you play. So the whole kickoff thing is a complete waste of time. Now they're actually punishing you for kicking it out of the end zone. They want you to put it in play, and they want you to do so. And I think it's a little safer. I'm kind of with you. I don't like changing the rule, to be honest with you, but I don't hate the new rule. It's still, you still can hit, you still do all of that. You just don't go running 50 miles an hour into a guy, and create like this big, crash. I don't like the onside kick rule though, Jeff. I don't like the fact you have to go out there and say, oh, by the way, we're going to onside kick, get ready. Tom,
it is. You have to look at this too. Okay, it is the game of football.
Yep.
All right. There is a certain element to the game of football that makes it the game of football. It's a rough game.
Yep.
It could be a dangerous game. Okay. And sometimes, listen, people get hurt. There's guys that pull muscles in golf.
Yeah.
Okay. Hardly anybody rips their knee apart playing golf. I don't think I've ever heard that happen before. But, just let them play. You want to find I have no problem with the kickoff going through the end zone if that's the case. You got guys, that means that the kicker, he's working out, he's doing what he's got to do. Can you kick a football that far? I know I couldn't.
No.
You'd be lucky to get it in the air 10 yards.
Right.
So if he kicks it through the end zone, it is what it is. Either make it, you start off on the 20, 25-yard line, which defeats the purpose of having a 100-yard field. Well,
now they tell you if you kick it, I think it's you kick it out of the end zone. It's the team starts out on the 20 to 25. They start on the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's bullshit too.
So you're punishing. But again, I get it. Otherwise, but the way these guys kick now, they're kicking the ball 60 yards, 70 yards. So why bother? You might as well say take it to 25. Like, why waste the time on kicking off then? That's the point.
Listen, how about this? Okay. If you want to look at that and say that guys are kicking the ball that far and everything else, okay. Then why don't we do this? First down, you can only tackle a guy around the waist. Second down,
Yeah.
you have to take him down by the shoulders. You can't take him down any other way. If you do, he stands up and off he goes again. Okay. Third down, you got to take him down from behind. And come up with different ways. You can only tackle certain parts of the game a certain way, which sounds stupid, of course.
Yes.
And that's my point. All of these rules are stupid. Just let them play.
Yeah.
How many kickoffs has there been in NFL history since the start of the game versus how many people have gotten seriously injured during maybe hundreds of thousands of kicks?
I won't argue with you. I would prefer the normal kickoff and let it play. I also, though, want them to not be able to kick the ball out of the end zone every time and waste everybody's time. So I would like to see the regular rules and then put in the new, if you kick it out of the back of the end zone, the other team gets the ball at the 40-yard line. To me, I would like that. I don't mind the new kickoff rules. I can live with it. I don't really love it. I think it's, again, the pussification of the sport.
Let me ask you something. Here's a scenario. Let me ask you this. Say your team, you're the Giants, right? The Giants are playing the Cowboys, and it's coming down for the final wild card spot in the NFC.
Yeah.
Now the Giants kick the ball off. The ball happens to hit at the 10-yard line. Okay. But the Cowboys are going to be like, no, and they just step aside and let the ball go, and it goes through the back of the end zone. Has enough momentum to travel another 20 yards through the back of the end zone. Is that going to be considered kicking the ball through the end zone?
I guess it would be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Jeff. It's a great question. I don't know if that scenario, but I would say I would be less likely to think that's something wrong with that, as opposed to the guy who kicks from the 45 or 40-yard line or 35-yard line and puts it through the uprights and into the stands every single time. Where you just go, I bet you if there's 100 kickoffs after touchdown starts the games, start of the half, I'll bet you there's not 10 that are returned at all.
You're probably right.
That's the problem. Right. That's the problem I have with it.
But the point too is also this. You wanted to make the game safer. In doing so, you've put the kickoff in a position where it's almost like just give them the ball at the 25-yard line. Okay, This is a formality. It's like when you go for a mortgage and they just keep handing you papers to sign and they tell you, well, this one's to acknowledge that you're getting a mortgage. This one's to acknowledge that you have to make 360 payments. This one's to acknowledge that you're probably never going to pay the house off, that you'll always constantly be refinancing it when you use your credit cards and you buy too much stuff, and all these different things. And that's what this is like. They're being counteractive to things that happen, but they're not really fixing the problem.
No, I would agree with that.
And then when people complain, they're like, well, what, the kickoff used to be great. What happened to the kickoff? Why not? Well, there we go. You know what I mean? That's what it's like to me.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you're not wrong. Like I said, I think you could tweak it, but not have to be so substantially tweaked. And again, the size of the field. Yeah, think about it. When they developed this game 125 years ago, people weren't as big. They didn't run as fast. The field has stayed the same, but the players have gotten bigger and faster and obviously a lot stronger. So I think you can compensate a little bit for that and kind of make the field a little bigger and maybe a little less violent and still not change the theory of the game. But I think right now they're starting to change the game, and they have been for years with all the rules. The defense can't touch the receivers; they get 5 yards, and all that stuff that goes with it. You can't hit anybody, you can't hit the quarterback, you can't land on the quarterback. So to me, there's already been that changeover that I don't like.
So then, how about this?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think of this idea as a rule change. You said change the dimensions of the field. Okay?
I didn't say change. I said they haven't changed the dimensions.
No, they haven't. But I thought you said make the field a little bigger.
No, they're saying is the players have gotten faster and stronger over the years, but yet the field dimensions have never changed.
Okay. How about this?
Okay.
Make the field during kickoffs a little wider. Put a second line in, whatever it is you got to do. Make the field 10 yards wider.
Okay.
For kickoffs. Not longer, wider.
Yep.
If you make the field longer, then people are going to say this compromises all records that have ever been set.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because now the field is 10 yards wider. So now
Yeah.
you know the deal.
Yep.
You make the field 10 yards longer. If you make the field 10 yards wider, 5 on each side, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, you're giving them a little bit more room to cover. You're giving the receiver a little bit more room to run. Maybe there won't be such violence because people have to
spread out more. Yeah.
Spread out more. They're not going to be gang tackling. That could be something to consider, I would think.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's not dumb. I got to be honest with you. That's not dumb. I've never even thought of that or heard of that, but that's not dumb. That's actually not bad because it opens up the field. It's less congested and there's more room to operate and actually avoid the contact.
And now here's one that I don't like. Okay, when the rule applies that they're not going to start running until the ball is caught. Correct?
Yes, it's correct. Yes, to bounce on the ground or it's caught. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
Because let's say that now you can't run until he catches the ball.
Right.
Now catches the ball. Okay, and you see him heading up the sideline. You're going to have these guys. They're not going to have the same. They're not going to be able to get down as fast.
True.
But they're all going to be able to target this guy because they're going to see which way he's going because they can't move till he gets the ball.
Right, because usually your momentum is going forward, then you have to adjust one way or the other. Now you're actually standing still as he's coming at you, and everybody swarms that spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
so
get
that may cause more injuries than it prevents.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Again, I don't know what the real answer is. I always said to me, I love the kickoff. I have no problem if they just said, all right, you get the ball to 25-yard line, and that's where you start. To me, I at this point, the way the kickoffs have gone the last decade, I could care less anymore. Just put the ball down to 25-yard line, save the 3 or 4 minutes that you lose with commercials and setting up the kickoffs and then getting off the field and getting the offense on. Just screw it. Just everybody starts at the 20 or the 25 and go from there. That's how I look at it.
I wouldn't start it at the 25. I would start it on the 20.
Okay.
Maybe even considering starting it at the 15. Because if the teams are as good as they say they are, and there's certain players that are, make them earn it, make it more strategy. And you kick the ball off.
Yeah.
You kick the ball into the end zone, a yard deep in the end zone, and your guy decides to take it out.
Yep.
Now he end up getting tackled on maybe the 9-10 yard line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Put it out on the 25. You just shorten the field to 75 yards. Yeah, it's a 100-yard field, but you just now it's a 75-yard field. For field goals, if you got a good kicker, what are you talking about? 35, 40 yards he's got to go to get into field goal range?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm especially where these guys kick. Yeah. I'm with you on it. It's a weird one. Take a look at this picture. Is that Tito Santana? Right? No. It says Tito Santana and the Honky Tonk Man.
That ain't Tito Santana.
It says Tito Santana versus the Honky Tonk was a main event anywhere in the country back then. Is that supposed to be Tito Santana?
That don't look like Tito Santana to me.
No, it's not Hacksaw Jim Duggan, although it looks a lot like him.
No, it's definitely not Jim Duggan, no.
But that's not Tito, right? Like, I don't get the...
I don't think so.
Is it just that he signed this thing? It says Tito versus the Honky Tonk?
I think that might be the case.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Might be a fan.
Maybe. That's what I'm thinking.
There was a question.
But again, this is the official Tito Santana group.
Yeah, but it's a sign. It's a poster.
Yeah.
With Tito Santana. But what does it say? The first question. Keep going.
Down?
Go down. Any idea who promoted that card? I'm pretty sure it was not the WWF. All right. There was another question. I thought it was going to say any idea who that is.
Oh, yeah, me too. But I'm guessing it's supposed to just be some fan of the guy who asked him to sign it. I just said, there can't be Tito Santana.
That's definitely not Tito Santana.
All right. So I just figured I'd put that up there next time.
You want to hear my Honky Tonk Man story?
I think I've heard this one. The one at the show?
Yeah.
You should tell it again for anybody who hasn't heard it.
Well, I was playing in a band called the All Night Jam Band, and we were playing at a school in Tottenville for some kind of fair. And it was a Sunday, and I'll never forget. It was kind of humid, nasty, and gray, and we looked like it was going to rain. So we're out there playing, and it was time to take all our stuff off the stage. And the honky tonk man was watching us. So I'm playing, and I look this way, and I see the honky tonk man. I look this way, I see the honky tonk man, and he's leaning over the fence like this, watching us, and I'm leaning back, watching him. And we're just looking at one another, and he didn't say nothing to me, and I didn't say nothing to him. And then he waited for us to take all our stuff off the stage, and he comes up to the stage, and he grabs the microphone, and he's like, "Gee, I was going to sing a song for you, but the band is taking their stuff down. I'm not going to be able to sing. I was a couple minutes too late. I'm sorry, everybody." And the drummer turns around and says, "Hey, we could set right back up if you want, man." And the honky tonk man smiling at everybody. He's like, "Shut the fuck up." And he wasn't much bigger than us.
Oh, really?
No, he was maybe 6'1", 6'2". He wasn't like he was like 6'5" and 280 pounds. I'm definitely heavier than he is now. But like, you would have walked past him and just think like, look at this asshole. He thinks he's Elvis. That's what he looked like.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, where do you put him in the rankings of the past? Like, like there was a lot of guys I didn't like who I thought were great wrestlers. Like the Iron Sheik was not only a great character, but a great wrestler. Was he more wrestler, more character? What was the honky tonk man in your?
I was not a fan of his style. I thought it was too much of a direct ripoff of Elvis.
Okay.
And I just didn't like him, and I didn't like that Southern shit that he did. And I would have definitely said he was a B or C level rated wrestler to me.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that I'm right, because I didn't give him a fair shake. But Tom, keep going with this. I got to take a quick squirt.
Sure. No worries. Yeah. So I guess they put the new kickoff rule in there tonight. I see Joe Cloak is ripping it apart. But listen, some people are going to like it. Some people not. Again, Hard Rocket Sports. That's Jeff. I'm Tom, and we're here every Thursday night. And we do this show every week. And thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. And we hope to let's see. We hope that you guys stick around with us and come back each and every Thursday night. We got still a few more things to talk about tonight. We got another half hour of show before we call it a day. And I hope you guys stick around and you guys watching a little baseball. You see a little resurgence by the Yankees. The Mets are still hovering. The problem for the Mets is they're 3, they're 4, they're 5 games over 500. They'll make the wild card. Now, I think the Mets did a nice job. I think both teams did a nice job at the trade deadline. They didn't give up much. They didn't hurt themselves for the future, and they gave themselves a little bit of insurance. And if they do something with it, great. If they don't, it's not like they sold their soul for one player to go all in. And I think both teams did a good job. So good for both teams, and that's fucking craziness. Oh my God! Ace Frehley says that Eddie Van Halen got tapping from him. I wonder if I can hear this. I don't think I can. I'm watching something. Will Cloak put up a thing that says Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley claims that Eddie Van Halen got tapping from him, then proceeds to demonstrate what tapping is. I'm a fan of Ace. I am. I've always been. Ace been my favorite Kiss guy. One of the first people I ever idolized as far as guitar players go. Eddie Van Halen learned nothing from Ace Frehley.
No. If anything, he learned from Ace Frehley to not get too drunk before he played or too stoned before he played.
Ace, here's the thing about Ace. Ace is a very iconic guitar player, and not for how he played. It was more about his style. Like Ace was cool. Forget about the costuming. He just was cool when he played. Like, he just looked cool playing the guitar. I would never say he was a great guitar player. You don't play one of his solos or one of his songs and go, that was tough. But he was a cool guitar player. But let's all call what it is. Ace Frehley was just a basic, average, above average guitar player in that world. And he may be iconic for Jeff, but I didn't listen to Ace Frehley and go, wow, I know where Eddie Van Halen got his style from.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was from Ace Frehley.
Yeah. It's just it's amazing to me that what the hell is this? L'Amour's August 18th, hosted by Eddie Trunk. L'Amour at L'Amour's was on Arthur Kill Road.
It used to be. There was L'Amour's. For a short time, there was a place out there, called L'Amour's. Yes.
Wow, I had no idea, to be honest with you. No idea what. So I just saw John Brullo put up a post. I guess his band No More Tears played there. Red Rum played there. Saturday.
I wasn't in Red Rum when they played there.
Yeah. This is Saturday, August 18th. LA Guns, No More Tears, Red Rum at Jethro's Birthday Bash. L'Amour's 2354 Arthur Kill Road, Staten Island. Doesn't say the year, just kind of gives you hosted by Eddie Trunk.
I would have to say that was probably in it was before I played with Red Rum. They were playing there. Maybe 2008, 2007.
You think that long ago? That soon? That was L'Amour's out there at that point?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because matter of fact, I started playing with who the fuck was it? The Pantera band, and I'm going to say maybe 2007, maybe. No, a little bit like about 2008, 2009, and that's when that started. They were playing out there at that time, and by the time we ended up booking a show, it was too late. They were closed.
Let's see. Yeah, you know what, Jeff? L'Amour Staten Island tickets concert September 13, 2008. Holy shit, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It says all events happening. Past shows, Raven, September 13, 2008. September 29, 2008, LA Guns. February 2008, Hell Within, whoever that is.
Might have been a local band.
Must have been. Again, LA Guns, Sunday, September 16, 2007. So LA Guns played there quite a bit, as it might turn out to be. I don't know. But Raven was there. It looks like the last show, Saturday, September 13th, 2008. I had no idea that there was a L'Amour's at that point.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird about that? I was listening to Eddie Trunk religiously around that time. Maybe it was after. No, I'm sorry. It would have been after. No, right around that time. It's weird. I guess I just must have missed it. That's weird. So it's weird. I never knew there was a L'Amour's on Staten Island. So
yeah,
shame on me. Jeff, Drake May has been getting some ripping in the newspapers about how terrible he has been in Patriot camp so far.
Jeez, already.
Yeah, I a couple of guys have just probably dropped the bomb and said it doesn't even look like he's ever played football before.
Well, they did say, I remember when the draft was coming around, and they did say that he would be one of the worst draft picks.
No, he wasn't. They're saying it's ghosts of Mac Jones.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Not a great thing to be compared
to.
Holy cow.
Well, I don't think you want to be
yeah. You don't want to be that. Yeah. The other thing I've noticed, first of all, Russell Wilson's still limited at practice. Let's see, there was a couple other things. I don't know if you're planning to bring back Justin Herbert, but he's out till at least week 1 of the NFL season. I don't know if you're.
Yes, so he got some sort of operation or something.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, here's what I don't get. So the Bears say Caleb Williams won't play tonight, which I get. Okay, Caleb Williams not playing in the Hall of Fame game but they say he's going to get only 45 to 55 snaps in the preseason total, and then go play in the NFL. I mean, is that a recipe for disaster, or do you think it's overblown?
Tom, at this point in time, this is what you're going to get out of this, because people want an extra game. So if we get an extra game, there's going to be less time in playing games in the preseason, less time for some of the guys to get in there and get warmed up, get loosened up, and get up to football speed. A rookie, I mean, damn, I remember some of these rookies would play most of the game.
Yeah.
They had to prove themselves. And,
Yeah.
it was a big thing for them. Now, it doesn't seem as important.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it myself. I really don't, because it's like, when are these guys going to get the feel for a game?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
realize what they're up against, because even when they practice, there's no way under the sun that these guys could go full speed and be like, hit him. They can't. They can't. You break his leg, that's it. Your season's over.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. And I mean, to me, you got to go out there and play. You don't get better sitting on the bench watching a bunch of guys run around on the field. The speed of the game from the college level to the pro level is a whole different thing. Now, some guys, last year C.J. Stroud came in, he played great. I don't know how much he played in the preseason, but had a great regular season. But Bryce Young struggled. And maybe he got better this year. We're going to find out shortly. But to me, you're a pro. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And I get it's a meaningless game, but a rookie has got to play, and he's got to get that experience of the players buzzing past him and how fast everything moves and the decisions you have to make. And to do that in the regular season, you're going to be 0-3 before you turn around.
Yeah, I agree.
Tough one.
I agree. It's not going to be something that's easy. And, these guys, it's hard to say, but if they don't get the time in, they're never going to learn.
I agree.
And you get a rookie quarterback, don't you want him to get in there and learn something and get a feel for the game?
Yeah, agree.
Everything overall, he's going to be the one they're keying on. He's the one that you have to get the most ready. An offensive lineman, even if you're a first-round pick, you're not going to get the same attention as the quarterback. Everybody's going to go after the quarterback.
Yeah. I couldn't agree. I could not agree with you more. I think it's dumb and a waste of time to do that. But speaking of the quarterbacks, that they're saying that Brock Purdy's positioning himself to be the highest paid quarterback in football. Now, there's one other battle I want to talk about was, who do you think forget about the money aspect. They basically got this close to the same deal. Do you think that the Packers or the Dolphins got a better deal signing their quarterback long term?
Oh, I would have to say Dolphins.
Okay, so now a lot of people are picking the Packers. I'm not so sure. I'm not a huge fan of Tua. I think there's a lot of flaws in his game, but I have only seen one decent year out of 5 or 6 right now from Jordan Love, and I can't anoint him that way. So I would agree with you. While I'm not the biggest Tua fan, I think he's at least shown me more than I've seen from Jordan Love.
He's shown that he's shown until he starts to win on a certain level, he's basically the AFC's Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I would say. That's my way of thinking.
Yeah. I understand you. I got you. All right. So, but now having said that, is Brock Purdy? Now you're the 49ers. You know what you got out of the guy so far. To me, he's a glorified game manager. He's not a great quarterback. I think if he loses a couple of those weapons, he'll take a sharp step back. If you're the 49ers, are you throwing a boatload of money at Brock Purdy?
They're gonna, yeah, without a doubt.
I didn't say they're not gonna. I'm saying you're the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers. You're building your team for the future. You're going to have to pay Brock Purdy $50 to $60 million a year. Are you confident, as Jeff, to put your team on the line and give Brock Purdy a 4-year, $55 million, let's call it $125 million guaranteed contract?
You know that, Tom, that's a hard one to answer.
Or are you more confident to let it ride out, spin the wheel in the draft, or come up with something else and bring somebody else in?
They've been pretty successful the last couple of years. If you bring somebody else in, you take a chance of ruining the chemistry of the team and starting all over again. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know, because these teams nowadays seem to jump at the first chance they get. So I'm going to say, if I was their general manager and I'm comfortable with him, having him on the team and thinking that he's taking us in the right direction, then I'm going to throw the money at him so we don't walk away or we don't have a bigger problem, because he could be the answer for the next 10 to 12 years.
That's a great point. Again, I think it's a crapshoot. You just never know. Again, the problem, Jeff, it's if you told me that I was going to sign Brock Purdy for a 5-year, $90 million deal, I'd say do it tomorrow, right? It's, $90 million over this in the course of football. It's, it's less than 20 minutes, $18 million a year. It's legit. But when I say I got to give him $60 million a year to be my quarterback, I go, wait a second, hold on. I got to give this guy $60 million of my $228 million, $240 million cap. That's the part that gets you. It's not the deal taking a chance on a guy. It's the amount of money you need to put in to take a chance on the guy.
Well, Tom, you know what? Listen, that's where owners need to take a step back and point the fingers at other owners, because when you had certain players come into this league and you're like, I need a quarterback, and this guy did pretty good for the other team last year. He had one game. He played one game at the end of the season. We're going to sign him. Well, what are you going to sign him to? He's got potential, this kid. We're going to sign him to $25 million. Now here comes you. You're going to be you got 2 years left on your remaining contract. You've been in the playoff. You've been in the league 7 years. You've been in the playoffs 6 times. You've gone to the AFC Championship game because you were drafted by the Jets. You go to the AFC Championship game 3 years in a row, 4 times overall in your career, and you won 2 Super Bowls. And if they're giving this guy the average quarterback salary is $25 million, they gave him $20 million. I'm going to want $35 million. I want to be the highest paid player in the league. All of these guys that use that phrase, I want to be the highest paid player in the league.
Yeah.
If you didn't play enough years in the league to be that as the highest paid player, why am I going to pay you? Well, I know why I'm going to pay you, because I'm going to be the one that gets nervous and upset. And I feel as though that I need to get my guy now. You had a pretty decent year. I think that you're going to continue. So I'm going to give you $35 million a year. Meanwhile, the average quarterback salary is $25. I'm going to give you $35 to be my man.
Wow.
3 years, $35 million. And you turn around and be like, that's great. But you and Edie like to go to Martell's in the offseason. And you have the pickle sandwich and a bunch of fucking tequila shots. And next thing you know, you show up to camp at 3:10. And it'll be like, who's the new offensive guard? And you'll be like, no, that's the quarterback. And I guess he didn't buy an exercise bike, did he? Like, no, he didn't.
He went to Egypt this year. He's playing with the camels in Egypt.
He's smoking peyote behind the fucking pyramid. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. You're right.
Two words for you: Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Brock Osweiler.
No, I got you.
I'd love to know.
Yep.
Okay, do you have any idea how much money was Peyton Manning getting in the height of his career per year?
Top of my head, no. I would tell you. I bet you. Oh boy, we can look it up.
Would it be maybe about $18 million a year?
Well, let's say I think Eli was at 20-something. He was one of the higher paid. And then, what's his name? Kirk Cousins broke the bank at 28. So I would tell you, yeah, I bet you if you look it up, Peyton Manning probably was $18 to $20 million a year.
I'm looking it up right now. Oh, look at this. According to sources, at the peak of his NFL career, Manning earned an annual salary of $18 million.
Wow. Okay,
with nearly 2 decades of NFL salaries Manning made most of his income playing football. His highest NFL salary was $18 million, though he made over $40 million some years thanks to his various endorsements. Here's a man that made $22 million more than his salary in endorsements, while he was averaging $18 million a year, his highest salary.
And you think about it, it wasn't that long ago. It's not like it's 30 years ago where you'd say, all right, they weren't paying salaries 30 years ago. This is a decade ago. Did they say what year was his highest salary?
No, but what is Pat Mahomes making now?
50.
50?
Yeah.
So 50 minus 18 is 32. Pat Mahomes has almost tripled
Yeah.
Peyton Manning's salary. He's making $32 million, more than $32 million a year. More than fucking Peyton Manning.
And they're looking to pay. And Dak Prescott's looking for $60 million. And the other guys, Love, Tua, those guys are making more than $50 million. They're getting $55 million a year.
It's fucking insane. It's absolutely fucking insane.
Holy cow! When you really put that in perspective, I mean, none of these guys can hold a candle to Peyton Manning. And
no, none of these. You're right. None of these guys can hold a candle to Peyton Manning. And on top of it, it's going to get to the point where keep paying these guys the money that you're paying them, okay? Because you're going to have to raise ticket prices, souvenir prices, soda prices, pretzel prices, hot dog prices, ticket prices, parking prices.
Yeah.
Okay. I know a kid at work. He goes half for Jet season tickets. Okay.
Uh-huh.
What are they? They're still playing 17 games this season, or 18?
17 games.
Okay. So I don't know what the breakdown is. Do they get 8 games on the road, 9, at home? I don't know. I'm assuming that it's 9 at home, 8 on the road. Okay.
Yep.
He paid $4,000 for tickets last year. Now he splits them. This year they went up to $5,000 for fucking tickets. For the Jets, $5,000.
Yeah, so you're talking about
that has not been in the playoffs in 13, 14 years, has not won a Super Bowl and closing in on 60 years, and $5,000. And I don't know where the kids' seats are.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not private.
I'm sure they're not that bad, but I'm sure they're definitely not that good.
What, you get 2 tickets for that price?
2 tickets.
So he's paying $250 a game just to go and sit in the seat, not counting parking, food, and believe me,
I don't know if that comes with any kind of parking pass, but parking is, last time I went to a game, I think it was $30.
Well, if you park outside, you're parking outside the stadium is like $30. I don't even know if you can park inside the stadium anymore, unless you have like the certain amount of passes for inside the stadium. But the last time I went to a Giant game last year, I took my wife. She wanted to go to a Giant game. You were parking. My parking was in the American Dream, which is a mall across the road from the stadium, and you have to walk from the thing across a bridge to get to the stadium. And it was an absolute nightmare. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. But I've gone to Giant games where you couldn't even park there, and you had to park miles away, and they put you on a bus and drive you there.
I went to a Jet game like that, and I was looking for parking, and it kept, because it said, parking permit, no parking permit.
Yes.
And then I'm following directions written on a pizza box. Go this way. Go this way. Yep. And it takes us on a highway, and there's a little box. Go this way. Go that way. And we went to some office complex.
Yes, me too. The same thing.
Yeah, it was like a sandstone-looking office complex.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It had to be the same one.
And you walk down.
And I'm like, if we have no idea where the fuck we are, and if something happens and these buses aren't running,
oh yeah, you'd be screwed.
Like, I couldn't even tell you where the fucking car is.
That's 100% true. Yep, 100% true. That's why I don't want to go.
At least with Google Maps on our phones, you could take a snapshot of where you are. So if you have to call the authorities, you'll be like, I can't find my car. Yeah. After they drug test you and piss test you, they'll drive you there once they know you're not drunk.
It's fucking frightening. Yeah, I that's why I hate going to games. I only went because my wife, she was so into it. She wanted to go to a Giant game. She had a great time. She loved it. If I get the chance to take it this year. But I got free tickets with free parking, and I still went there. And I, it cost me food. We bought I bought her a shirt. I got a sweatshirt. I still think I went for almost $300.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
it's
100% right.
I don't even go. We went to the Ferry Hawks game, the Staten Island Ferry Hawks.
Okay,
which actually was pretty cool, and Sharon got us really good seats. Right behind home plate. I never sat behind home plate before.
Yes, great. Yeah, nothing better.
I don't know if you've ever been to the Staten Island Yankee game.
I've been to the stadium. I've never seen a game there.
Well, every seat is deadly.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God, yeah. Because once they start, hitting foul balls into the stands, there wasn't much protection. But now at least they put up some netting.
Okay.
And we're sitting behind home plate, and I'm thinking, I'm like, I hope that ball, that net could hold that ball from if somebody fouls it off, is it coming through?
Yeah.
And thank God it did. There was like one instance where the ball got away, but it was no big deal. But behind home plate was a great place to sit, man.
Oh yes. Yes.
We
Back in
were
my
right up against the wall.
Oh, it's back in my Fox days. I did I can't tell you how many games doing the jugs gun right behind home plate, like just sitting back there for a Major League Baseball game, holding the gun, and then like halfway through the game, like, don't worry about it, we're not using it anymore, and you just sit in the same and on a stool behind home plate is the best vantage point you're ever going to have. So yeah, I agree with you. It's
Let me ask you something. What is it like to sit behind home plate in a Major League Baseball game? Because this was an independent league, which was kind of like maybe single A, double A baseball.
Yeah.
It was entertaining in its own right. Don't get me wrong. But what's it like sitting behind a catcher in a Major League level and hearing that pop when a guy?
Oh my God! It's
what's the fastest pitch that you can remember clocking?
100 miles an hour. I forget who. I don't know if it was Clemens. It was definitely a Yankee game, and it was that was always the big deal for Fox. It got to be such a big deal how fast people threw a ball that we brought Louis Pica to Philadelphia, and he sat in the end zone and was trying to use the jugs gun to clock how fast Randall Cunningham threw a football. But it was too far away. It never really registered. So Louis Pica came all the way to Philadelphia and sat in the end zone of a Giant Eagle game, and tried to jugs gun it. But that's how they were they were so enamored with how fast somebody could throw a baseball or a football that's what they did. But for a baseball game, man, you never realize how fast they throw a ball, the movement on it, and then the sound of the ball hitting a bat. When you're sitting there, it's like, holy cow.
The sound of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt.
Oh, my God, you're right. Yeah, it's just a pop.
And just like thinking about what that hand feels like catching how many of those a game.
Yeah, amazing. I would say, though, the best view I ever had, I sat in the Met dugout in 99 or 2000. I think it was 2000. Mets, San Francisco Giants. I think that was NLCS. I think that was the NLCS. I sat in the Met dugout, and if you want to really experience a baseball game, that is the place to experience it, because you see and hear everything. And boy, oh boy, it's like, holy cow, this is 3D. Like, life is right in front of you. It was the best. That was the best. So.
I just looked up what are you professional football quarterbacks throw a football on an average speed of approximately 54.1 miles per hour. The fastest throws have been recorded at 62 miles an hour.
Pro player?
Yeah. Professional football quarterbacks throw the football on an average speed of approximately 54.1 miles an hour.
Did they name who? Did they name the fastest the fastest thrower?
So far, no.
I would have guessed in my days watching, it would have been Elway. Elway threw the fastest football I ever saw in my entire. Jeff George was another one. Had a cannon of an arm.
I remember. I could have swore that I saw a Packers game with Brett Favre, and he threw the ball like 70 miles an hour.
I would not. That guy had one of the greatest. I mean, I saw him warming up, throwing 70 miles an hour, 70 yards, basically flat-footed. Just ball just flew out of his hand. Oh my God!
Let me explain something.
Yeah.
Fuck you if you think I'm standing in front of a football going almost 55 miles an hour.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. Yeah. Second of all, assuming that somebody lets it really rip because they're about to get killed.
Yeah.
You need to catch it. And you threw the ball 62 miles an hour? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Catching it in the chest?
Imagine, think about that. Thinking about you're running toward the ball, like you're a receiver, you're running toward the quarterback. You're 7 or 8 yards down the field, and he lets loose with a 62-mile-an-hour fastball. That is insanity. As fast as a fastball is, the football coming at you that way. Oh my God! I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine.
I know that I can't throw a ball. Even in my best, I wouldn't be able to even throw the ball that far. And I remember throwing the ball at people, and they'd be like, "Yo, man, don't throw it so hard."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm not trying to throw it hard. I'm trying to reach you. We're standing so far away." And then they would throw one, and it's like, nah. Frank, the only thing is if it's cold out, it may take some of the sting away. The next day, I'd imagine you're going to feel that shit.
Oh my God. I would tell you, Frankie's right. I remember catching balls from people and your hands would vibrate and sting. And, and I remember times like the ball got through a little bit and it would hit you through the hand and hit you in the chest and you would get the cross on you. I can't even, and those guys weren't throwing 62 miles an hour. So I can't even imagine what a guy like Elway or Favre, them throwing a football to you and gunning it. It's insanity. I can't even imagine what it's like. So
I wouldn't even want it. And then, you have to catch it. You got to catch it.
Oh my God. And the fact that they do, that's the sick part is that these guys are actually making these catches with the ball coming that fast at you.
How many of them are in compromised positions because they're off their feet up in the air having to catch the ball. There's a lot involved with it, man.
No, I would agree that Augie was definitely a guy who could let it rip. There was a bunch of guys that I played football with that were like, I don't want. There were guys that you didn't want to warm up with. Like they just threw too hard.
Listen, I'm sure there is, but you know what? If a pro quarterback is throwing a ball on average 52, 53 miles an hour, an amateur doesn't know how to throw the ball as well as a professional quarterback.
Yep.
He throws the ball, but he doesn't have the same skill as a professional. It's going to be a different throw, especially since a pro, for the most part, when they throw the ball, they throw a perfect spiral most of the time. Most of the time, not all the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Crazy. I can't imagine 60 miles an hour of someone whipping a football at you, especially in the cold weather. Oh my God, your hands would snap. Boy, but wow, that's crazy. Yeah, but that was always to me the beginning of the end.
They catch it in the chest.
Yeah, that's the part. Like I never was like the last thing you want is to catch that ball up against your body and get that feeling. It was like getting a purple nurple, man. Like you would get a bruise that lasted forever. I never. Oh my God.
Should get fucking break your sternum.
Always hated it. Always had. Know who threw a football that was? It was hard, but it was heavy. Was Mike Pepe.
Well, he was bigger than everybody else. Of course.
Yeah. Mike Pepe threw a football. It felt like it weighed 100 pounds.
But Mike Pepe also, I don't know, did you play in a league with Mike Pepe or something?
I did. Yeah, I did. I played in the league. But I was a center on that team, but I used to catch passes before the game and then played in the street with Mike. He would come out in front of his house and he'd jump in with us for a little while. Yeah. Mike Pepe threw a football like a rocket.
Yeah, especially when we were younger kids.
Yeah.
He used to exercise that on us too.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a duck in the thing, like going around in a circle and getting shot. He would try to fucking like purposely kill you with the ball.
He'd take your fucking head off. You're absolutely right. 100%. Mike Pepe. Yeah, that was one of the guys. Whatever happened to Mike? Is he still on Staten Island?
No, he moved to Florida.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He married Jeanette Pepe. As far as I know, they're still married.
Yeah,
he what do you call it? Moved to Florida. I think he moved to Las Vegas, and then he went to Florida, or he went to Florida, and then he went to Las Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, I was friends with him on Facebook for a short time. Then he disappeared.
He disappeared. He never.
You remember?
Stuck with it.
Rosebank Youth Touch Football League.
Yeah, because he was. Well, you and Mike Pepe were. I remember you being a little on the big side, Frank.
Yeah,
might have been more towards the size of Mike Pepe, but Mike Pepe was older than us.
Yeah, how big was he? What, 2 years older, 3 years older than you?
Oh, he was like maybe 3. He's like 4 years older than me, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And maybe you were more his size, but when we were younger, the way he treated you was the way he treated us.
What do you mean?
So you got a pounding from Mike.
I don't remember the Rosebank Youth League Touch Football. I don't remember that. Do you remember that league?
No.
Yeah. I don't remember that one.
There was several spots that they used to play. They used to play down at the barn. I remember that.
Yeah.
They could have played at Fort Wadsworth, without a doubt. Underneath the bridge, there's a big grass field over there.
Yep.
And there was a couple other spots that they would go to and play. You know, it wasn't much, but they played in places.
Yeah, it was sponsored by you show. Literally, you never played in that league. Yeah, we played each. Okay, you played at each.
Yeah, that was we played. That's where Jimmy Taylor broke his ankle.
I remember that. Pushed him over the
fence and then raped him of his equipment and helmet and left him there so that they could continue playing. Oh, Jimmy, that sucks.
All true. All true. All true. Didn't we had no. You're too hurt. Guy, hop the fence. Give us your equipment. We gotta play.
Yeah, that was. I remember that. I think I showed up and he was outside the fence, or he was trying to get home.
The one that whipped the gun out at you years later.
What's that?
The one that whipped out a gun at us years later.
I had nothing to do with that. You know? Fucking Jimmy Taylor.
Oh my God! All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm tired. I got an early start again tomorrow morning. Frankie, well, love having you pop in, man. Next time, come a little earlier.
I got to work tomorrow myself too.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's 8 hours, 8.5 hours overtime, so it doesn't really suck. So, I'll take it.
I don't blame you. All right, but good night, Frank. We'll talk to you soon. I love my man Frank Jeffrey, and do love you all. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We had a blast. A little bit of Olympics. We did a little bit of baseball. We talked a lot of football, and a little everything in between. So I'm glad to have done this. I'm not surprised, Frank. I'm not surprised. I love you too, my man.
Same here, Frank. Be good, man. And stay away from that sheetrock, bro.
Oh, my God.
That's why they have these people from down south.
Further down south.
Give them some $50 and some Modelo, and off they go.
But on that note, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We're looking forward to doing it again next week. And we certainly appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with us. And stay tuned. There's lots to come up, a lot more football to talk about. We're going to be doing a mock draft on the air here coming up. Frankie and I are setting up a mock fantasy draft on the air during 1 week, and we might even, I think we're doing, Jeff, the official NFL draft on the show.
Really?
Fantasy draft. Yes, Frankie and I talked about it. I believe the draft is set up for the week before the season, the Thursday night. We're going to do the draft at 7:30 right here on the show. So
then I need to say something.
Yeah, please do.
I think it's unfair.
Why do you say that?
You do that because this year you're just going to know ahead of time what players I'm using to slap the fuck out of you, man. And Frank too. Fuck it, Frank. You're on the list too. Fuck you. You're getting bitch slapped. I'm taking this league. I'm taking the trophy. I'm taking the money. I'm taking everything.
No, listen. Well, not you. Everybody will have their.
And by the time we're done, John Marhecker will trash talk.
Well, right now, I'm not sure there's going to be somebody has to get bounced out of the league to allow you in. So I'm waiting for all the responses from people to see who's actually coming back or not.
I didn't get nothing.
No, I couldn't send you one because I can only email owners in the league, so I can't email you yet until I know who's out, and I have to remove that team from the league, and then I invite you in as a new owner. So you're in.
You can't invite me in then?
I can't invite you in because we're at a 12 max, so I have to remove one team from the league in order to at least one team.
Just find somebody and remove Frank.
Well, I have already picked a person who's going to be out, but I'm kind of waiting before I announce it because if somebody else were to bail out, Carl Graham is coming back. I saw Iggy Mo and Frank Catalano at Frankie's wife's memorial. They're both in. So I have to talk to my stepdaughter to see if she's coming back. There's a bunch of Tony Jordan. There's a bunch of those guys I have to wait. I'm waiting on. I sent out an email. I haven't heard back. So shortly, somebody will be voted off the island, so to speak.
All right. Well, my vote is Frank. Fuck him.
But
just so they can be like,
we're going to do a mock draft on the air. Frankie, you, me, and whoever else wants to be involved.
You got to get Frank Catalano in on this.
Yes, I'm sure I will, and we'll see how it works with the draft on the air. and everybody will get to do their picks, and we'll be able to kind of be on the air talking about it as we go.
Have you started your research yet?
Oh, listen, let's see. Have I started my research? Yes, my friend.
Yeah. Just because you bought a magazine doesn't mean you started your research.
I'm all set, my friend.
I bought a magazine too, and I don't know where it is right now.
It's probably in the shit house.
It ain't there. That's all electronic reading.
That's all electronic reading? I got you. Well, get ready because we're going to be doing the draft right here on the air. We'll do a mock draft in the next couple of weeks to kind of make sure it works all right. And we'll keep you guys updated on that. But in the meantime, we're going to end the show right here. And I thank everybody for tuning in and everybody for playing along with their home edition of the Hard Rock and Sports Show. So, Jeff, I will say it's been another great experience, and we're into our 10th season. And we're looking forward to a good football season. We got a lot more football next week to get to. So let's put this one to bed and come back and do it again next week.
There you go.
All right. So everybody, again, thanks for tuning in and being part of the show. And we want to say have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a great week. And we'll have you back here next Thursday night at 7 o'clock when we do this all over again. So for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday night. Jeff, I'll talk to you off the air.
You got it, man.
Later, my man.
Later, bro.